Okay, so what I'm going to do today is we're going to paint the surface of the table here. You can see that I painted black in the background. That really just makes the chiaroscuro sphere pop out a little bit more. I would still probably work on blending this out a little bit, but I would have just done that with the second coat. But what I'm going to work on today is I'm going to go from like a red-orange here to a yellow-orange, maybe a little closer to yellow here. That's going to make it look as if this, this table surface is receding a little bit, and that always kind of helps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of the Brilliant Red here, and that's just because the Brilliant Red has, in my opinion, a tinge of orange to it anyway. And then I'm sticking with the medium yellow here. I'll probably need a little bit more of that. So I'm gonna use probably this 1/2 inch flat brush for that. I'm gonna start by mixing, since I've already got a yellow background, I can use that transparency of how thin this paint is to my advantage and just utilize some of that yellow in the background. But I'm gonna start by mixing some of this together, just so I have a base of paint to use. I'm going to use a little bit more of the red. Now when I'm doing this, I have to work all the way across to try to keep it kind of even as it recedes. And I may end up using a little bit of water here. We'll kind of see. Try to do this somewhat quickly before all the paint starts to dry. And I probably will end up using a little bit of water just to blend this out, and using that water kind of works because I've got that yellow underneath it. The water has a tendency to make the paint more transparent. So if I've got the yellow underneath it instead of just the white from the paper, it kind of works with what I'm trying to accomplish a little bit better. Trying to get the paint on there somewhat thick. I'm going to kind of avoid the cast shadow, because I'll have to kind of cut around, but I can always go back in with the black afterwards if I kind of blend in there a little bit. So what I'm doing here is I just got a little bit of water, not too much, but I'm just kind of dipping it in there, and then I try to get rid of some of the water, and then I'll just kind of go over, and you'll see what how that kind of allows it to spread out a little bit further. And it's really not a great idea to use water to blend too much, just because of that transparency issue. So I don't like for people to really rely on it. But with something like this, where I'm working in layers and using the transparency of the paint, then it kind of works a little bit better. The more you do this, you'll find what your preferences are as far as whether you prefer to work in layers of paint or thicker, kind of blended areas. So now I'm going to start using quite a bit more yellow. Really with the yellow at that point, I'm just kind of using the red-orange that was still left in my brush touch more red into it. So now I'm just going to get a little bit more water, kind of dry it off on my paper towel a little bit first. Just kind of use that to start blending things together a little bit more. And again, you'll notice that I'm moving this way, and that just kind of helps to keep things a little more uniform across the surface of the table. If you want to at this point, you could darken up the bottom just a little bit. But this would be a good first coat for that surface of the table. And then if you need to go over it again, you could do so. Different people have different preferences as far as dark to light or light to dark. It doesn't make much difference to me. Just remember that it's the split complementary of whatever color primary or whichever major color you used for your sphere. So the complement of blue is orange, so I went to either side of orange, so I did yellow orange to red orange. If you have any questions about this, email me and we can either set up a meeting or I can clarify through email. Thanks. Bye.